Hello, I am the Kids Whisperer, the magical voice to help you relax and sleep. As the day softly fades into the embrace of night, it's time to let go of the adventures of the day and ease into the gentle arms of sleep. So let's take a moment together to prepare our minds and bodies for a peaceful journey into dreamland. Find your special spot in your bed where you feel safe and snug. Nestle yourself under your blankets, just like a little caterpillar in its cozy cocoon. Feel the warmth of your blankets wrapping around you like a loving hug. Now let's take a deep breath in through our noses, filling our tummies with air like a big balloon. Feel your chest rise and your belly expand as you take in a big deep breath. And now slowly exhale through your mouth, like a gentle breeze rustling through the leaves of a tree. With each breath, feel your body becoming lighter and more relaxed. Let go of any tension you might be holding on to, allowing your muscles to soften and unwind. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, imagine yourself drifting on a fluffy cloud high above the world. Feel the cloud beneath you, soft and billowy, carrying you gently through the starlit sky. Picture a sky full of twinkling stars, each one shining brightly just for you. Watch as they twinkle and dance, filling you with a sense of peace and wonder. Take a deep breath and let's listen to the story. Once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl who always wore a bright red riding hood. This girl was loved by everyone who knew her, especially her grandmother. Her grandmother, who lived deep in the forest, had made the red riding hood for her, and she wore it so often that everyone began calling her Little Red Riding Hood. One sunny morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her into the kitchen. She said, "Your grandmother isn't feeling well. I've packed a basket with bread, honey, fresh fruit, and her favorite cookies. Please take this basket to her. But remember, stay on the path and do not talk to strangers." Little Red Riding Hood nodded eagerly. She loved visiting her grandmother and couldn't wait to see her. She put on her red riding hood, took the basket, and set off on the path through the forest to her grandmother's house. The forest was alive with the sounds of birds singing and leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Little Red Riding Hood walked happily along the path, enjoying the beauty of the trees and flowers. She loved the way the sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating dancing patterns on the ground. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and the earthy aroma of the forest floor. As she walked, she saw a patch of beautiful wildflowers growing just off the path. Grandmother would love these, she thought to herself. She stepped off the path to pick a few of the flowers, filling her basket with their colorful blooms. She carefully chose the prettiest flowers she could find, thinking about how happy they would make her grandmother. While she was picking the flowers, a big, friendly-looking wolf came up to her. The wolf had shiny fur and a long, bushy tail. "Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf with a smile that showed all his sharp teeth. "Where are you going on this fine day?" Little Red Riding Hood, remembering her mother's warning not to talk to strangers, hesitated for a moment. But the wolf looked so kind and friendly that she decided it would be all right to answer him. "I'm going to visit my grandmother. She's not feeling well, and I'm bringing her this basket of goodies," she replied. The wolf's eyes gleamed with a sly light, but he kept his voice kind. "What a good girl you are," he said. "Where does your grandmother live?" "She lives in a cottage on the other side of the forest," Little Red Riding Hood replied. "It's one with a thatched roof and the white shutters." The wolf smiled even wider. "That sounds lovely," he said. "I mustn't keep you. Have a wonderful visit with your grandmother." With that, the wolf hurried off into the forest. Little Red Riding Hood went back to picking flowers, unaware of the wolf's true intentions. The wolf, you see, had a plan. He wanted to reach grandmother's house before Little Red Riding Hood did. The wolf ran swiftly through the forest, following a shortcut that he knew well. He reached grandmother's house in no time at all and knocked on the door. "Who is it?" called grandmother from inside. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf, trying to make his voice sound like a little girl's. "Come in, dear," said grandmother. "The door is unlocked." The wolf opened the door and stepped inside. Before grandmother could realize what was happening, the wolf had swallowed her whole. Then he put on her nightgown and cap, climbed into her bed, and pulled the covers up to his chin. He looked around the cozy cottage, taking in the pictures on the walls and the warm fire crackling in the hearth. He thought about how clever he was and how delicious his meal would be. Not long after, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage. She knocked on the door and called out, "Grandmother, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you some goodies from Mother." "Come in, dear," said the wolf, disguising his voice as best as he could. Little Red Riding Hood opened the door and stepped inside. The room was dimly lit, and she could barely see her grandmother lying in bed. "Grandmother, you sound so strange," she said as she walked closer. "I have a bit of cold, dear," said the wolf, trying to sound like grandmother. Little Red Riding Hood put her basket on the table and went to the bed. As she got closer, she noticed that her grandmother looked very different. "Grandmother, "What big eyes you have!" she exclaimed. "All the better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "And grandmother, what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf. "But grandmother, what big teeth you have!" "All the better to eat you with," growled the wolf, and he jumped out of the bed. Little Red Riding Hood screamed as the wolf lunged at her. Just then, a woodcutter who was passing by the cottage heard her scream. He burst through the door and saw the wolf attacking Little Red Riding Hood. With one swift chop of his axe, the woodcutter killed the wolf and saved Little Red Riding Hood. "Are you all right?" he asked, helping her to her feet. "Yes, thank you," said Little Red Riding Hood, her heart still racing. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood remembered her mother's advice. She never strayed from the path again and always stayed away from strangers. As time went on, the story of Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf spread throughout the village. People marveled at her bravery and the woodcutter's quick actions. They admired how Little Red Riding Hood learned an important lesson about safety and the importance of listening to her mother's advice. She continued to explore the forest, but she did so with more caution. She learned to appreciate the beauty of nature while staying aware of potential dangers. She also developed a keen sense of direction and became skilled at identifying the different plants and animals that lived in the forest. And that's the end of the story. Now imagine a beautiful garden blooming beneath you, filled with colorful flowers. Take a deep breath in and let the sweet fragrance of the flowers fill your senses, wrapping you in a blanket of tranquility. As you breathe out, imagine yourself floating gently down into the garden, surrounded by the beauty and serenity of nature. Know that you're safe and loved. You're surrounded by warmth and comfort. Feel your body sinking deeper in your bed and sleep gently. As you drift off to sleep, remember that you're cherished beyond measure and that you're always wrapped in the loving embrace of those who care for you. It's time to say a small prayer. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for keeping us safe. Give us the strength from above to not to talk to strangers. Protect us from all evil, harm and danger. Keep us safe in your arms. Give us good night rest and sweet dreams. Thank you for the food, clothing and shelter. Thank you for the safety. Thank you for everything. Amen. May you have a deep sleep and wake up feeling refreshed. Good night, sweet dreams, and sleep tight.